didn't drink and use drugs.
I have something to hold on to for strength. I'm in recovery, getting the help I need.
Call 800-379-4799, 800-379-4799.
Have you been denied credit or hit with high interest rates? A low credit score happens to many of us, and millions of people are victims of incorrect items on their credit reports and don't even know it. That's why you need credit repair now. Our proven process has resulted in past clients seeing on average 11 negative items removed from their credit report and a 40-point increase after the first 4 months in our program. Call now and request your credit report and credit score for free in minutes.
Call 1-800-783-9197.
3, 2, 1.
You're listening to 910 AM Superstation. You're listening to 910 AM Superstation.
The best in the city.
The views and opinions expressed on any program are those of the producers and or the persons appearing.
Steven.
Who said that?
Me, down here.
What are you, a yellow booger?
I'm a banana slug, Steven.
Well, what are you doing in my room?
I'm your sense of adventure. Don't you remember me? Don't you know that we miss you?
Miss me? Who misses me?
You know, all your friends in the forest. The trees, the pond, that little fort that you made out of branches. We all miss you.
Mom took me to the forest last year.
I'm a slug, Steven. It took me a long time to get here.
Oh, I guess that makes sense.
The forest is not that far away. Have an adventure today. I'm sure your mom would take you.
You're right. I should get out. I want to have fun. Play in puddles, catch frogs, and climb trees. Hey, Mom!
Jan? Steven, what is that in your hand?
It's my sense of adventure, Mom. It's telling me we need to get out of the house and have some fun in nature today.
Come to the forest where the more adventurous you lives. Check out discovertheforest.org for cool places nearby. Brought to you by the U.S. Forest Service and the Ad Council.
WFDF Farmington Hills, Detroit, 910 AM Superstation, a division of Adele Media.
Crime Stoppers helps solve crime. Hi, this is Dan DiBardino, president of Crime Stoppers of Michigan, asking you to help us continue our work in keeping your neighborhood safe. Each year, more and more families turn to us for help seeking justice for their loved ones. Please help us by donating through our website, 1-800-SPEAK-UP.org. Any amount will help us. We are helping families every day, and you can too. Again, the website to donate is 1-800-SPEAK-UP.org.
And good morning. You're listening to 910 AM, the Superstation. My name is Robert Ficano, and I'm here with Keith Williams, also Scotty Boman, and we have a special guest with us here we'll get to in a few moments, Ashley Smith. And you can join us at 313-778-7600. That's 313-778-7600. And just to start it off a little bit here, Keith, I see that Joe Biden has jumped in, and some polls have him up to 25 to 30% ahead of the rest of the pack.
I think he's baked in, Bob.
It's interesting that you called it once gravitas that allowed him to sort of excel and really separate himself from the rest of the pack.
But see, people, they just reminiscing about the Obama years. And he was a part of the Obama years. Yeah, he had a history, everybody's got a history in politics. But Barack Obama, put his arms around him. And guess what? They became a team. People don't realize, the progressives don't realize that Joe Biden the one forced Obama on the gay issue. Remember?
Yeah, he did. He came out ahead of it. In fact,
Yes.
he was on a national talk show on a
Right,
Sunday.
right.
And he came out and said that the administration should endorse it. And people forget, but President Obama, at the beginning, when he ran in 2008, was opposed to gay marriage.
Yes. So, they can't say, see, the progressives can't pick and choose who they, the issues they want to deal with. Biden was a part of a successful administration. You see what we got now? We got a buffoon, a guy that is not educated in the political process. Plus, he's a bad businessman. So I don't know. They just created a creature just to go after Obama's legacy. I just think.
Who's the bad businessman?
You know who I'm talking about. The guy with that wild hairstyle.
You mean the orange
orange
stuff?
hairstyle.
The orange
yeah.
hairstyle? Okay.
But the only thing, Bob, I'm scared. Nolan wrote a column today. Biden speaks to the forgotten Democrats.
Okay, why should that scare you? Even Nolan,
No,
every squirrel finds a nut.
Bob, anytime Nolan Finney put his hands on something, I cringe, man. You know what I'm saying? But I like Joe, man. Joe, you can see bring a little style about it. You can see the gravitas. You can see he was a vice president. It wore well on him being around that administration. And he's speaking to the forgotten, the forgotten underclass, man. And so even this latest poll is black women and his counterpart.
Yeah, he's in North Carolina, isn't he? South Carolina. The past couple of days, their primary is going to come up, and it was thought that Harris would do well in South Carolina. That would be part of it, and then she catapult into California's primary. But I don't know. It looks like Joe's sort of screwing those plans up.
See, you know what they're trying to say, Bob? She's not black enough.
Oh, really?
Kamala, there was an article on Facebook.
Because she was a prosecutor, because she was Attorney General of California.
Everybody, I'm just sick of the litmus test, Bob. I am tired of these litmus tests. You're not black enough, or you're not liberal enough, and all this other stuff. We got to have common sense in our politics, man.
Yeah. Okay, before we get to our guests and stuff, we have Nicole. Nicole wanted to chime in here real quick.
Oh, good morning, gentlemen.
Good morning.
What I want to say is this, Barack Obama, everybody, Joe Biden is going to have to win this on his own record. And he has asked Barack Obama not to step in. And I think that was a wise decision of him to do, because I think, when you look at everybody in the lineup, he can beat them all. I feel that he can. And I'm kind of sad because, Barack Obama is in the history books now, and everybody's trying to use him as, to try to lay the groundwork for a lot of things going on, but you can't. He's in the history books now. I think we should let him go on and live his life, because he has the right to.
But, Nicole, he's inserting himself in the election.
Hey, we know who he wants.
Can I say this, please?
Yeah.
I'm saying, just like every other president that come and gone, and they're on their ranches, and they're in their vacation homes now, and they're living their life. Not only do he have to deal with the backlash of Trump, coming in with his hate, wanting to destroy everything that he has ever done. So, you see, it was never about Donald Trump really coming in with the interest of us as a country, but he came in with the interest of tearing down Barack Obama, which was the fuel and the gasoline for that base that put him in office. So Barack Obama not only got a bad share when he was the president, having to deal with a Congress that already had said when he came out the running gate that they was going to try to railroad him and make him a one-time president and not even work with him to get anything done. I feel like whatever he got done, he was pressured even under.
But Nicole, if I can ask you, if you think about it, are the Democrats doing the same thing to Trump on the House side? That no matter what, they don't want to work with him?
Wait a minute, hold it. Trump is a basket case. And
I know that. But the strategy that the Republicans used against President Obama looks like the same type of strategy that you see the House is doing against
but Bob,
Trump.
in this case.
No, I don't think so. I think that they're after Trump because he's, look, he's an ignorant in there with no experience. He's dangerous for the country. He's a ticket time bomb. Anything can go off under Trump.
Can I say something? There's some constitutional things that are happening now, Bob. They're going against the Attorney General is supposed to be independent of the White House, okay? They're working in concert with one another. He's like, Barr is the spokesperson for Donald Trump. And I just think, Bob, Nadler...
He's acting as his advocate.
He's acting as his advocate, but Nadler is those constitutional kind of guys. They've been in the Congress. They know how the Congress worked when both parties were in it. But this guy, Barr,
Nadler's the chair of the House Judiciary
Didn't they find out Barr's daughter yesterday? Barr's daughter works for Donald Trump.
Really?
Yes, it just came out. She's his spokesperson for him.
Really?
You gentlemen, when you when y'all sit back and look at Donald Trump's track record over the couple of years, you're going to find out that he has been running the country like a mob boss. I hate to say it.
It's the truth.
I hate to say it.
Okay.
He's been running it like some mob boss, not politicians that's in there with the interests of our country and other countries and their leaders at heart, but just this reckless mob boss. And like I said, somebody got to get in there and yank this out of his head before this thing turn out to be a total disaster for the country.
Yeah, well, we got a year and a half that, and you're seeing the campaign. In fact, the NAACP is going to have Harris, Senator Harris, who distinguished herself really on some of the questioning of the Attorney General when he was in front of the Senate last week.
She acquitted herself well, and she almost caught that guy and got him in a perjury trap. Yeah.
I'm sorry. Go ahead, Nicole.
Senator Harris, gentlemen. Senator Harris is speaking out both sides of her mouth. Look, she don't know if we are good for reparations, just like Bernie Sanders can get up there and bold-facedly say that we don't deserve reparations as a race of people. Senator Harris is
what's Biden's position on that? I mean, I'm not even sure what his position is.
See, let me share this with you. I wanted to have reparation, but it ain't gonna happen. So why even put it in a political atmosphere? Let's get the White House back. We don't need divisive issues that's gonna turn those crazies out
Republicans
again.
want you to talk about that.
They want you to talk about that.
But it's okay, that's your opinion, but I beg to differ. Look, I know it's the most powerful thing we have as a race of people. Yes, we can give reparations.
How, ma'am? Tell me how you're going to get it through.
Do you think the Democrats are going to control the Senate?
Yes. How do you get it through?
I think they can get it.
How can you get it through when if the Democrats don't get the Senate, control the House, plus you got to get a majority in the Senate to get anything through?
Actually, 60%.
Yes.
Except for budget bills.
Budget bills, yeah.
Well, let's start off by getting the Democratic president, then we'll work our way
That's a good thing. That's a good thing.
Go ahead, Scotty.
Yeah, I'm predicting, and I'm a libertarian.
That's such a thing,
I don't want Trump to win, just to make that clear. But I'm predicting that he will win unless the economy suddenly does some kind of nosedive, because we got the lowest unemployment in 40 years, or at least that's what the mainstream media is telling us.
For the first time, people are looking at other things other than the economy.
Yeah, right.
Trump is his own worst enemy about that.
He talks. He's got. Let's think about it, Scotty. Barack Obama inherited the worst economy since the Great Depression. The plants were going under and all this stuff. He saved the economy. And then after his last years, the economy started taking off. And guess what? Who inherited a great economy? Donald Trump. He hasn't done nothing. He hasn't done nothing to help the economy.
He's golfed a lot.
He golfed a lot. He flies around the country telling lies all the time. It's a Barack Obama economy. Let's get straight with that. What has Donald Trump done to enhance the economy?
Well,
I couldn't have said it any better.
To play devil's advocate.
Nicole. Thanks for calling in. We appreciate it.
I think he actually could argue that he did have policies. And again, I believe in free trade. But the fact of the matter is he has had protectionist policies that he would argue are responsible for that. And it's
actually the tariffs he's put on has actually hurt the country.
It's hurt the farmers. Go ask the farmers in Nebraska
or Iowa.
Ask them about those tariffs.
Or the automotives are still struggling with them if they start, especially with Canada. I mean, our largest trading partner is Canada, and we're beating up on them.
Yes.
And where's the intellectual really harness they're trying to do to China? China steals a lot of the technology and stuff. All these negotiations that they're in with China right now, if they don't resolve that, it goes back to the way it was. They just start taking all the technology.
But, the bottom line is that Donald Trump is a fantasy to those right-wingers. Oh, America's going to come back again like it used to be. It ain't going to happen, folks. The country's getting browner, it's getting wider, and it's one big melting pot. See, Donald Trump is one of them old guys, who cheated his way through the system. He never done anything for himself. His father, they messed with the tax codes so they can get rich, and the sister had to resign. Don't tell me about Donald Trump and his greatness and what he done for the economy.
And his business plan is
I'm
not
agreeing with you. I'm just saying people will vote by the economy. They'll vote with their wallets, and that's what they're going to perceive as the media's telling them they have the lowest unemployment in 40 years.
But
I don't know if it's really true.
We're going to have to get to Ashley here. Before we get to her, we got one more call. Leroy, come on. You're on the air with us. You can join us, by the way, at 313-778-7600.
Yeah, thanks for taking my call. You know, you can say what you want to about Donald Trump, but you better call him president at the end of all that stuff, because everybody thought that he wasn't going. They thought Hillary had it in the bag and all of that. He knocked off all of them big shots, all of them big wigs, and then turned around and knocked off the Secretary of State.
That's an anomaly, brother.
Well, don't underestimate him, and don't underestimate incumbents. And what I want to say about this Ms. Harris, okay? And the case in point is what happened in Georgia when the woman ran for governor. Black men stayed home. She only got 85% of the black male vote in Georgia, okay? And the same, when you start talking about reparations, that's an insult to me. Because how you going to put a dollar amount on American slavery? Because what goes with American slavery is Jim Crow, the heroin epidemic, the crack epidemic, the fact that the schools in the urban areas, all of them, Philadelphia, Detroit, Harlem, all of them are underperforming. And this is the thing. What bothers me about all of these progressives, they come to us, to black folks, when they want to legalize weed.
I don't disagree with you, guy.
You never hear them come and say your schools are underperforming.
Yes.
Why we don't have none of your kids in the University of Michigan and Michigan State in the science, technology, and engineering programs? We concerned. You don't hear that coming from them. Then they run to our women like Brenda Hill and get her to talk about legalizing weed. That's all you hear from them. And to me, I will stay home.
But Leroy, don't fall into the trap too, thinking that like the whole race is monolithic. That that 100% of them are going to vote a certain way. I think that's one of the mistakes that Democrats make sometimes. That they don't, and it goes into your point that they don't come out and tell you what they're going to do for you, and yet they expect 100% of your vote.
But Bob, this guy, he is right about this. When they want weed, when they want their issues, they want us to fall in line with them. But when it comes down to our issues like wealth building, why is the Democratic Party always talking about jobs to me, man? Can I think my way? I'm educated. I want to grow my economy through my own
your own
wealth. Okay, they want to tell you, they all want to pigeonhole us. I'm not mad at skilled trades. I'm not mad at it because we need to be in all things. But guess what? Talk about it. Don't talk with me. Don't talk at me.
Well, here, one more thing, and I'll just hang up. Don't assume that the Mexicans and the Caribbean and the Arabics and everybody else is going to vote with us. Don't assume that, because the Donald Trump election was the last thing to show.
Look what the Hispanics did.
Well,
they scored. They voted like 30% for Donald Trump. Look at Florida. That's how he won Florida.
So that's what I'm saying. Don't assume. Don't come with this. Well, the country is getting browner. The country may get brown, but that don't mean they're gonna say. And after all, look at it for what it is. They laugh at us behind our back. All of them people that you claim are so brown, and they talk about our women that we're a race dominated by women. And I'm telling you, man.
Hey, brother, listen to this. The civil rights laws was created off the backs of African Americans. Now, everybody want a part of the civil rights thing now, okay? They went hung from the tree. They didn't go through Jim Crow. They didn't, after Reconstruction, we thought we had our freedom. Then they create some more laws, Bob. They've been creating laws all throughout our history against people of color. Now, come on now, this is civil rights issue. Please. Just look at Emmett Till in that casket, okay? Think about that, Louisa and those folks that died. They're trying to help us get our freedom and stuff. So, come on with all this craziness, man. The progressive movement, I get that, Bob, but they're going over the top with their stuff.
Yeah, the progressives. Well, it's like everything else. Bernie gets elected. And his first act is he says, I want Medicare for all. The Senate says no. Okay, what's the next step? Now what happens?
Yes.
Okay, everybody say, oh, there's going to be a revolution. Well, look outside. There Isn't that, they aren't burning the buildings down or anything like that. So
look what he did to Hillary Clinton. After he lost, he took his toys and went back home.
Yeah, and it cost her.
It cost her.
Okay, we're going to go to break, and right when we get back, Scotty has brought in a special guest, Ashley Smith. She's the sister of a situation I think that you've heard about that had occurred at DMC about how long ago, Scotty?
It was last August.
Last August that it's occurred. So we're going to be right back after the break, and we're going to have Ashley Smith with us here in the studio. You're listening to 910 AM, the Superstation.
That's the number of free phones still available and the number of how many Americans can still get prescriptions free.
Free could be wonderful. That's why I'm still working at 77 years old to pay off my prescriptions. I needed to have a prescription filled, and I had to leave because I couldn't afford it.
Call now and see what's available for you. Free prescriptions. Over 10 million people get prescriptions free, and the program has expanded, so another 40 million can. Free dental. Over 15,000 dentists have provided over $330 million in free dental work. Free cell phones. 40 million free cell phones are still available with free minutes and more.
Free cell phone would change my life right now because it is something I cannot afford to get.
Medical supplies like back braces, knee braces, and diabetic supplies may be covered too. The free RX Plus hotline has saved callers over $12 million on their prescription costs. These free programs are now available to 40 million more people. Call now.
The day you lose your strength is the day you lose your independence. Muscle is lost with age, affecting your energy, balance, and mobility. Before you know it, you're depending on others just to get through the day. But you can reverse and prevent muscle loss. Introducing MyoHealth, a revolutionary proven approach to increased muscle strength and function in as little as 30 days. Live life on your terms with more energy and confidence.
After a serious health issue put me down, MyoHealth's getting me back up again.
I'm doing activities that I haven't done for a long time. It really works.
MyoHealth is a safe, natural dietary supplement, the result of decades of research and 24 human clinical studies. You can live stronger at any age with greater strength, mobility, balance, and energy. Call or go online now and take the MyoHealth 30-Day Strength Challenge.
So, you've decided to go to college. That's cool. So, pop quiz. Which is a better way to earn your degree? Commute to college and fill your gas tank, get stuck in traffic, drive in bad weather, try to find a parking space, walk a half mile to class, or learn online at Independence University. In the park on a bench, on the beach on a towel, or on your couch with your kid, your campus is wherever you want it to be. You don't go to college. College goes to you. That's independence. That's Independence University. You schedule classes around your schedule, and all your supplies, including a brand new laptop and tablet, are included with tuition. At Independence U, you'll learn from professional instructors with real work experience. You'll get personal support in school and employment assistance when you graduate. Get your degree, but keep your life. That's independence. That's Independence University. So if you're really smart, you call now.
Call 1-800-556-7791.
Independence U for an independent you.
Call 1-800-556-7791.
Are you getting the most out of your Medicare plan? Are you sure? Many people with Medicare are eligible for plans that include extra benefits in addition to those found in original Medicare. Benefits like dental, vision, and prescription drug coverage. Call now to see if you're eligible to enroll. The consultation is free with no obligation to enroll. In addition to hospital and medical coverage, at no extra cost, you could also get coverage for prescription drugs, dental, hearing, vision, and more. In many areas, plans with benefits are available with $0 copays for many services, $0 monthly premiums, or $0 deductibles. That's hospital, medical, prescription drug, dental coverage, and more, included in one plan with premiums that may be as low as $0 a month. Call now to see if you're eligible to enroll. The consultation is free, and there's no obligation to enroll.
Call 1-800-571-8580. That's 1-800-571-8580.
When I grow up, I want to be a new pair of blue jeans.
When I grow up, I want to be a kid's first computer. A warm fleece on a cold day.
Football
I want to be a bike that races around the country. I want to be a bench on a forest trail.
When I grow up, I don't want to be a piece of garbage. And if you recycle me, I won't be.
Give your garbage another life. Recycle. Learn how at iwanttoberecycled.org. Brought to you by Keep America Beautiful and the Ad Council.
And good morning. You're listening to 910 AM, the Superstation. My name is Robert Ficano. We have a studio full here this morning, along with Keith Williams, one of our regular guests, and Scotty Boman, our residential libertarian here. But he's brought with him here this morning a young lady, Ashley Smith, who, if you may remember, back in August, her sister was involved in an incident with the Detroit PD, as well as eventually that went to trial. And I think at this point there's been some questions. So, Scotty, why don't you introduce Ms. Smith and what we're looking at here this morning?
Sure. Just to kind of put things in a little bit of a background here. Back last Thursday, I had asked Chief Craig about the status of Corporal Jones, because I knew his sentencing was scheduled for May 1st. And at that point, he simply, I asked actually whether or not he was still a corporal, whether or not, what kind of duty he was on, if he was still working for the DPD. And at the time, Craig simply answered that he's still working for the DPD. Since then, we went to the sentencing, and I was outside with a group called DRACO, Detroit Residents Advancing Civilian Oversight, and protesting outside both on the eve of the sentencing for a press conference and then the following day. Ms. Smith, why don't you tell everyone how you came to talk to me, because it's kind of an interesting story, and then also how you became aware of what happened with your sister, because a lot of people might be surprised, given the timing of things,
right,
how that worked out.
Right. So I'll actually answer them in reverse because it'll make it more sequential and make more sense. But I found out about the incident because I'm an Army vet and I moved to Texas around 2 years ago. I'm a disabled vet. And so after I moved to Texas, we found out that my sister had a guardian. During this time, she also had a child, so we were dealing with a custody case right now, actually. And so last time I saw my sister, she said, go ahead, make sure we get the custody of my child, then, don't worry about me, wait until we get that taken care of, and then come back and, look after me. So that was about a month prior to that incident occurring.
Was there a formal process of giving her a guardian, being through the probate court?
I don't know,
okay,
because no one told me.
Okay.
And so, being in the Army, I was in Korea prior to. Okay. I had no idea
when this was going on.
Right.
Okay, sure.
And then I was also in a lot of training and things like that. So, forwarding to about a month ago, I get a text message from my brother saying, hey, there's something that's happened, and I know it's going to be very upsetting. Because of my sister's mental ability, she's a protected class. So her name and things aren't really out there. So with that being said, he shows me this video, and although it's very cloudy and you can't see everything, you know your family, and you know what they look like, you know what they sound like. And I knew instantaneously that that was who it was. So, it was very upsetting, especially being military. You go overseas to come back and see that your family needs to be protected, and no one, the people you think are there to protect them, does the opposite. And so,
so the system basically let you down because they didn't let you know that your sister was in the dire straits that she was in, and plus the incident that occurred that was triggered off of the confrontation with the police officer.
And then also, to add too, last time I saw my sister, she was in a facility. Last time I spoke to the guardian, she was in a facility. I was still under the impression that she was in a facility. So I was so shocked, I was so concerned, and I was so confused because I didn't understand how this could have happened whatsoever. So, after kind of getting my bearings and figuring things out and calling, lawyers and things like that, I knew I had to come up here for sentencing because, again, I didn't know that this incident even occurred. So I saw Scotty and the protesters outside, And I wanted to thank them for representing my sister, and also to me, that's an extension of my family because we were unaware. So, I had to tell them thank you for representing this because a lot of other people I reached out didn't even they didn't even answer the phone calls. They never answered an email. They never responded.
Who did you try to contact? The prosecutor's office or where?
At that point, it was like the NAACP, ACLU, those type of organizations, just to figure out what legal representation I could get because it's a little bit more complicated being that she has a guardian.
Okay. I just was a little curious, and you're bringing up the fact that she's also a mother, and a lot of people hadn't heard that about her before.
She is a mother.
And when did you find out about the fact that you're now an aunt of this child of hers?
The day she had the child, which was in January 29th, 2 years ago. So, as soon as we found out, we went and tried to get the child. The state wouldn't allow us to get the child. She went to foster care. And then after that, my family's been battling that case to ensure that we get custody of the child, which we have foster care custody, and now we're working on adoption.
Okay, so the foster care has put the child in your family's home, or?
Yes, it took 6 months, but we finally got it to work. So I was coming back and forth every 3 months for the court date for that for a while.
And the child, the child's at a home here, a family member in Michigan.
Right.
Okay. It's kind of odd that you had to fight that long to, if you had a family member already there, that the state wanted to put him in foster care instead of actually transferring it to the family member.
It was
custody.
Yes, and we're still fighting. They said it would take about another 6 months to a year before we actually get her in our custody as our child.
Okay. And the guardian, you don't know how that came about? Was it by court order or?
Upon research, it was court ordered, but no, we were never notified as family. So we found
even the Michigan residents or anything like that.
None of us.
Really.
And how long ago is she placed in guardianship roughly? Then do you think?
I found out with the custody case, so I'm assuming 2 years, and with the lawyers, they're saying it's around 2 years.
I mean, it's interesting. One could argue the guardians weren't really fulfilling their role, given how she ended up in the hands of the police and over at the receiving and all that.
Right, and when I called her, the guardian, I'm upset, of course. I asked her, hey, what's going on? Can I get an update? And after calling and calling, she finally answers, and she goes, well, that's none of your business. I didn't feel the need to tell you, and what would you have done? And so with that being said, I was just flabbergasted, and I really didn't have any response that wouldn't have been aggressive. So I told her, I want to see my sister when I get here. I'll be here soon. And she still hasn't put me on the list, so I still can't see my sister.
Oh, really? You're still not on the family list?
No, I'm not.
And what family members are on the list? Is it
none of us?
None of the family members are on the list?
No.
So who's on the list? Do you know that can see your sister?
I know the guardian is, and like I said, upon doing more research, she put on paperwork and conservatorship paperwork that my sister has no family. But we're doing the custodial case, and I've been in contact, and we have over 10 people who are willing to adopt a baby, or be they may be a little bit older. You could be a official babysitter, things like that.
That's interesting. The guardian. She was assigned. Is it a she? I presume.
Yes, it's a she.
She was assigned by the court.
Yes.
Huh. You don't know what court, what judge?
I have a lawyer working on it right now. Okay. I've had several. We've reached out. She hasn't been responsive.
That's interesting because you could file a petition in theory with the court then that with the guardian, and if they're fulfilling their fiduciary duty or not. What you're supposed to be doing with the family. That's interesting. Scotty?
I would say because, usually immediate family are someone they go to. And I know, I had a case where a friend of mine was unconscious and dying in the hospital. And they almost had, you have some strong standing there. I'm also interested in, and a lot of people may not know this about you. Well, you saw the video and you saw how she was being handled.
Right.
And you have some knowledge, and maybe you could tell us all about, I know, regarding your work experience.
Right. So I was in the military, but I was also medical. And not only, I'm still medical, I'm still a registered x-ray tech. I'm a realtor as well. And then also I did a lot of tactical operationals training because I was in the Army as an NCO for 8 years. And it was shocking to me, one, that the police officer, once he got there, that a medical staff wasn't in the facility as soon as he got there. And so it seems like there's an operational breakdown between the police department as well as the hospital, whatever their protocol may be, because according to the video I saw, there may be no protocol. And then also with her not being clothed, which is, I still don't understand why a male officer was the one who was touching her. In the military, even if you're in Afghanistan or Iraq, you cannot, as a male, touch any woman, female, any of that. It has to be a woman counterpart. So, I don't know if he touched her. I'm assuming he did. He may have, I don't know if it was incidental or whatever, but it just doesn't look good. And it doesn't look like it's the correct protocol.
Were there any women officers there?
Well, there was the one who was trying to pull Jones off her, and that's that's the only woman officer I remember
if there's
seeing
incidental
there.
contact, there's at least supposed to be a woman in the room to make sure that it's appropriate.
But it was in it. But the other thing is, it's in a hospital. It's in an emergency room, and I think
correct. And then we're not even talking about procedural things such as the needle. Well, that's what we call it. Where when someone's outraged or out of control, you make sure that you get them in a situation where they no longer hurt themselves or hurt you or you hurt them. So it just seems like a procedural breakdown from inception of from her getting to the hospital, prior to her getting to the hospital, because they should have called.
Okay, we have Rick on the line. Rick, you're joining the panel here?
Hey, good morning.
Good morning.
As I listen to the case, it's particularly sad, but most educating in this moment is it's not that the system failed her, it's that we don't have a system and we need to build one. We have 50 years of history of breakdowns in advocacy. And if this lady's abuse was not captured by film and witnesses, we would not even be talking about it now, even though it could have happened. And I know that it has happened to numerous people before. So I think we should take this opportunity to take the suggestions of her relative, along with relatives that have been putting in input for decades about this broken system of advocacy and support for us average people. This is shameless that we lose people or abuse people. There is no broken system. There is no system. There's no interconnection. There's no unilateral cooperation.
You're right, Rick, but there is a system set up where the guardian is supposed to perform a fiduciary duty of protecting the person. I mean, that's why they're paid. I mean, that's why the court sets up the procedure.
But Bob, being on the bench, that as a fiduciary or as a guardian of an individual, the checks and balances in place are pretty much designed to protect the money that is coming from the state, not the individual. I have dealt with people who have had 5 and 6 individuals living in a 2-bedroom, charging them $400 or $500 a month, and they were turning in all of the medical reports and everything, and nobody had a reason to check. That's why I say that Main3.com, Bob. People matter. Our experiences matter. Let's not get off of that. It's how we respond to claims, not how we talk about issues. Thank you so much.
Okay, thanks, Rick. Thanks for calling, and have a good Sunday. Bill, you're on with the panel here. Bill, you're on the air. Bill, you're going to have to turn down your radio. Bill? Okay.
But you know what? I do agree that there's a system. Like you said, the guardian didn't do what she was supposed to. But on top of that, there's not a lot of resources for mental health, especially Black mental health. It is something that we need improving, because even looking right now, I've been doing a lot of research, and I don't see a lot. So sometimes you have to make things when they're not available to you.
Now, Commissioner Burton had a friend of the show. He's on here a lot, and you've met him. He had, on numerous occasions, suggested that the police in Detroit do something similar to what they do in Minneapolis, which is to have health professionals available, and even in some cases have them go with the police when there's somebody who is likely to be having mental issues that need special attention. How do you feel about that?
I guess that could work. It may be expensive because you have to be aware of the logistics of everything. But, I mean, once you're in the hospital, you do have medical personnel there. So it's kind of strange to me that this incident still
I think
occurred.
the state, too, right now is going through a situation with mental health, that they keep revising what they're doing. Detroit, Wayne County mental health keeps changing over in what they're doing. And that's something that you said that, you know, you were concerned that
right.
You haven't seen a lot of mental health help or advocacy that's there that could really help. And
Okay.
it's not necessarily tailored. You're right. I don't know if it is tailored at all towards African Americans that, you know, would have special needs. You talk about mental health and what they're dealing with. But what's fascinating to me is that the guardian and the courts are the ones that are supposed to be watching out for this, and you're paying they're paying the guardian to do this,
right?
And they have some of the guardians, you know, it's they have a caseload, so they watch a number of things. But some of the primary things you're supposed to do is notify the family, be in contact with the family. You're supposed to become an advocate for the individual that you're a guardian for, and supposed to be protective of them, which includes working with the family at this point.
So what do you want the court system to do and the Detroit police to do? What are you trying to? How are you trying to resolve this?
So I'll start with the police department. I think the sentence was beyond lenient. I was there. The cop was, you know, very smug. He knew he was going to get away with it. To me, that's getting away with it. You get 12 months probation. So you have to set a precedent that you will be accountable for your actions, which Detroit has not done. You know, and I told the Board of Commissioners that as well. When you say, hey, you have this type of incident, and you get to keep your job, you don't get any type of punishment, there's no punitive action, why would people change? So that's the number one issue. He should have been held accountable, which he has not been. So Detroit has failed, or this police department has failed, the judge has failed. He literally justified this police officer's actions. So
I've raised this before. Isn't one of the issues, though, the collective bargaining agreement? In theory, if a police, and this was a misdemeanor conviction, if they are convicted of a misdemeanor, I don't think you can, that's not a fireable offense, I don't believe.
To me,
Under
it
the
looked,
collective bargaining agreement.
and I understand that, but to me it looked like assault, felonious assault. If I was in the military, if I would have did that to Afghani, I'm losing my career.
Yeah,
So why
I
am I
understand that, but I mean, they actually went to court, and that's what the court came back with, was a misdemeanor,
which is terrible.
Which kicks into it being, you know, not really a fireable offense,
but
in theory.
But in actuality, they have fired people for not only something, let's say, as low as a misdemeanor offense, but for no legal crime at all, for other reasons. And so just on that basis, without a conviction, I don't quite see that as a reason to keep them on. For instance, we had that recent case where we had the officers making, well, to put it lightly, insensitive remarks about a woman.
Yeah, they had
who
the whole
took
incident
car
with the
away
6th
from.
precinct.
And you had the case of a woman
He broke her arm, I think. They eventually found out that he broke her arm as well.
Oh, that was the same individual?
I believe so. I could be wrong, but I thought
okay, that's a new one to me. But again, was he convicted? And I think the point you were making was
he was fired.
Yeah, but he wasn't convicted of anything, but they were able to fire him. And we had another case where there was this woman where I think it had come out that she had used marijuana in a place where it was legal before it was legal here or something like that, and they thought that was enough reason to dismiss the person. So there's a number of times when they've dismissed people where they haven't been convicted of any crime, and here we do have it is a crime, and a misdemeanor, and it's a violent crime. It's an assault. So it just strikes me as kind of odd that the contract would, on one hand, protect someone guilty of a violent misdemeanor, whereas a non-crime, other causes for dismissal were acceptable.
Okay, yeah, I'm not sure what we're sort of in the dark because I don't know what the bargaining agreement actually does and how it defines it out and things like that. Okay, we got some callers on this. Ken, you're joining us here on the panel.
Yeah, I was listening to the conversation here about the cop, and he got off scot-free basically, and I agree with that. But as obscene as that is, listen to this. Let's say this didn't get reported initially, and then somebody blew the whistle on the cop that did the beating. It's not uncommon in Michigan that the whistleblower gets fired.
Well,
rip debris around that.
I'm not sure of that, but that's
not supposed to happen. But, yeah, that's not supposed to happen. I mean, the whistleblower actually, by statute, has protection.
That's what it should.
No, you don't. Not in Michigan. Believe me, whistleblowers get fired 90% of the time. It happens all the time. Come on.
What do you base that on, sir? What do you base that on?
Huh?
What do you base that on?
Okay, let me give you a real good example. There was that superintendent of the intermediate school district out in Oakland County. And he was stealing money and doing all kinds of stuff. And three people signed a paper exposing him. They all got fired. So, you don't believe that?
No. If they got fired, though, did they come back with a cause of action? Did they sue
you gotta be kidding me. You don't believe that? You don't believe whistleblowers?
No, we're saying is that whistleblowers under the law are supposed to be protected.
Hey, let me tell you something. In contract language, there is no whistleblower protection in contract language. Did you even know that?
Are you a lawyer?
No, I'm not a lawyer.
Okay, there is protection in the statute. In the statute, though, there is protection.
Are you a lawyer?
Yeah.
Bob is. I'm a parking lot lawyer.
He does it off the street.
You're a lawyer?
He's kidding around there. He says he has a lot of street experience as a lawyer. No, but Ken, I'm saying that the state statute does say that if you are fired because you took the action as a whistleblower, it could happen here at the station even. The state law says that you have a right then to file a cause of action, and not only do you get your job back, but there's penalties and things that are associated.
You have a right to file doesn't mean that you win.
I got a question for you. Did any of the other police whistleblow?
What's that?
Did any of the other police who were there, did they whistleblow?
I don't know. I have no idea.
They defended him.
Yeah,
they were at court
so.
defending him. So they had no intention of saying anything.
Okay, that's the flip side. They defended him. They didn't whistleblow.
Right, they did the opposite. Well, you don't have to defend bad actions. It's something called ethics and morals.
I'm not defending. I know that. I mean, they're just as guilty as he is as far as I'm concerned.
There you go.
Okay. All right, Ken.
If they didn't blow a whistle, if they didn't file a complaint against them, they are culpable for the accident. So,
okay.
And you can believe what you want about whistleblowers, but I'm telling you right now, whistleblowers, they usually get fired and they usually make it stick.
You know what, Ken, though?
You can believe that or you cannot believe it.
Go to Ford, General Motors, and Chrysler. There have been some real big judgments where whistleblowers have been fired, and they've gone back, and Ford and General Motors and Chrysler have paid a pretty penny because they fired that whistleblower in some of the incidents. And some of the incidents you see with the IRS and some of those are whistleblowers that many times you may not recognize them as whistleblowers, but that's exactly what they're doing with it. But you're right. I mean, if there's retaliation to the whistleblower, the statute specifically says that that's a protected act by the whistleblower if they're showing that. So I'm not saying that they always follow the law. Okay, thanks, Ken. We appreciate it. Fidel, go ahead.
Bob, this is the deal. I'm on this show. I'm on a lot of shows. And Daniel Patrick, on one hand, had it right. You're entitled to your own opinion, but you're not entitled to your own facts. People come in with all their opinion. Did anyone make it seem like it's factual? And it's not. Okay? I'm not a lawyer, but a whistleblower has protection.
Yes.
And they have, well, like you said, Bob, they have won many lawsuits, pertaining to that. So, man, Bob, that's why I get confused about these shows now, man.
Three names: Bradley Manning, Edward Snowden, Julian Assange.
Yep.
Okay.
They're whistleblowers who are not treated very well.
Well. Okay. They know that they're violating the law when they were doing stuff.
Yes.
Okay, that's a big difference versus they know somebody else is violating the law and they're blowing the whistle on them.
Yeah, they was blowing.
But I'm sorry, I got to correct myself. There was a name change. Bradley to Chelsea.
Okay. But Snowden
you talking
actually
about Chelsea,
released
the young lady that was giving the stuff to WikiLeaks.
Yeah.
That's Snowden.
Yes, Snowden.
Well, Snowden did the same thing.
Right.
Snowden did that, right?
She shouldn't have been doing no stuff like that. Giving out secrets to somebody, man. Come on, man. Come on, man.
Okay, Fidel, you're on with the panel.
Morning. Good morning. To the young lady, I'm sorry that happened to you and your family, but unfortunately, that's what goes on in the city of Detroit. Kenneth King is a poor excuse for a judge. So basically, what he's saying is, if I was to go be his mom or his wife, I'll just get probation. So I want you to understand, young lady, where you at and what you dealing with. This is corruption at its worst. I'm sorry. Be very careful of who you talk to, because the same people, if they got a high-profile name in this city and they black, they're going to laugh in your face, act like they want to help you, and turn around and go tell the court system and the police system your strategy, just like that guy you're sitting next to in Keith Williams. So be extremely careful who you talk
What's
to.
Keith got to do with it?
What I got to do with it? Fidel, what I got to do with it? You own everybody talk shows with your philosophy, and they corrupt.
Young lady, actually let them finish. What happened is, if you put your trust
I listen to this guy all the time.
You're going to get little to nothing, then you'll be like, damn, that guy on the radio
sister, if you got a brother that's on the radio shows at 5:30 every morning and don't end to 8 o'clock, ask him where he works at.
Young lady, be careful, and I'm so sorry.
Fidel, I want to ask you a question. What do you work for? Who do you work for, Fidel? You're on the radio show all day.
I tell you what, if that officer would have to hit my people like that, I'll be in prison because I'm going to blow his brains out.
Okay. Fidel, go ahead.
You can't do that.
You can't do that. You can't say that on the radio.
Okay, one, you're on.
Thank you for that.
One, you're on.
How's everybody?
Good.
Yes, sir. How you doing? How you doing? Everybody to the panel. I just wanted to say, hey, Keith, I'm looking forward to that Soul Day, man. I attended a lot of Soul Days in my life, man.
Thank you, man. Could you tell everybody, because what I'm trying to do, man, I'm trying to make it happen. You know, Pee Wee Harris started it in 1967, and it's been a wonderful event until he got up in age. So I'm just trying to bring it back.
And I just wanted to say that to you, brother, and that's a great opportunity
to bring us together.
Okay, so much, man.
Yes.
And I'm with you on that, brother. I got you on that. This a moment right here, bro.
Okay.
This community is very familiar with it. One more thing. What about speaking of whistleblowers, what about the Gary Brown case here? Wasn't that a whistleblower's case?
Yeah, actually.
And he got fired.
Technically, he was investigating the mayor, and it became technically a whistleblower case, actually.
His co-defendant was something. I think he was the actual one. Anyway, that was a big case, a big example you could use. I was just throwing that out there. And to the sister,
yes,
to you, stay on it. You're very intelligent. It's just a disgrace. So we need you, and you need us. Thank you.
Okay. All right, thank you for the support.
You know, Ms. Smith, if you can find out who the judge was that has assigned the guardian, I think that would be interesting. Because at that point, there could be a petition filed saying, what the response was of the guardian. The guardians have, there's the whole code lays out what they're supposed to do, not do,
right,
and fiduciary duty and things like that. That's part of that with it. So what's your next step, Ashley?
We're working on some things. They're more legal, so I can't really communicate about it at this time, but just know that we're still going to continue to move forward. My family set up a GoFundMe, Justice for Sheldy, the number 4, Justice for Sheldy. Share. We can't let this, we can't let people get away with this. We got to keep moving forward. And then also, like I said, I'll be back and forth from Texas to Michigan.
Okay.
And
that
we'll
can't be easy. Marcy, go ahead.
I was just curious how the with the GoFundMe thing is it to get legal representation? How is that?
Yes, legal representation as well as that's our biggest thing right now.
Okay, Marcia, you're on with the panel.
Oh, good morning.
Good morning.
I'm so sorry about what happened to your mother. When you go to emergency, you go into emergency for help.
Right.
They call in that call when they have those emergencies coming in. A young lady walking down the street with no clothes off. That was a crisis. They had doctors in emergency could have given her Ativan shot. There were all kinds. Her rights, her complete rights were totally violated. There are all kinds of things when you find the people come into emergency for. They are supposed to be emergency room. I hope Jeffrey Iger has the case because all her rights were violated. We are senior citizens. I work with them. If we had put one hand on a senior citizens upside the head in any of these nursing homes, anywhere, hospital, anywhere, we would be immediately arrested. You would be flagged, and nurses that have jumped on patients, nurses say, you cannot hit a patient. She was a patient. And I'm so sorry. I hope Jeffrey Iger gets the case. And whistleblowers, ever since the Obama administration, whistleblowers have been jailed. Research Obama administration how they handle whistleblowers. It is and you need, every society needs whistleblowers. These are things that we know that happen in the hospitals, in the nursing homes, and shelters, and happen to people that totally violate the human rights as a human being. And that should not happen. And it sends whistleblowers underground. Ever since the Obama administration, do your research about how.
I don't think it's fair to blame the Obama administration on what's going on with whistleblowers.
She's a Bernieite.
You're a Bernieite.
Thank you for the support.
We appreciate it, Marcia. Thanks. All right, we're going to break. We appreciate all the call-ins, and Ashley, we really appreciate you coming in and talking about the aspects concerning your sister and the next steps that are going to be necessary to make sure that unfortunately an incident like this doesn't happen again.
Correct.
And the system is set up so it's more sensitive to it. So we'll be right back. You're listening to 910 AM the Superstation. You can reach us at 313-778-767.
Handle the things I go through. It's good to have a friend with another perspective to show you.
This is Reverend Sharpton, and on the last Keeping It Real with Reverend Al Sharpton.
He's on all day. What does he do?
I just answered you before, sir, that I know thousands of people that are in the rooms when the votes come in. Every candidate has people in the room. When I run, I have people in the room. Everybody running is going to have people in the room when the count comes in. The question is making sure we get the right count. The count does not come from them counting ballots. The count comes through technology. This is not 1890. We're not having people at the courthouse standing in line or the schoolhouse and you see the ballot. The question is making sure you have the right voting companies, that they're not hacked or not in any way eliminated. You could have everybody in the world in the room. They will be in the room getting the wrong numbers. So keep it real daily with me, Al Sharpton.
Greetings, this is Camelia Landrum, your Executive Director of the Detroit Branch NAACP, inviting everyone to join us on Sunday, May 5th at 5 p.m. at Cobo Conference Center for our 64th annual Fight for Freedom Fund Dinner. There is no other gathering of its kind that brings together so many who are committed to fighting for civil rights and social justice. This year, our keynote speaker is United States Senator Kamala Harris. For tickets, tables, and sponsorships, please call 313-871-2087.
The 910 AM app has been integrated with Alexa and is now live in the App Store. To use 910 AM on your Alexa device, you can say Alexa commands in two ways. If your Fire TV device has the microphone button, you can hold down the microphone button to say the commands. If you've linked your Echo or Echo Dot to your Fire TV, you can use the trigger word Alexa without pushing your microphone buttons to say commands. Start listening to 910 AM Superstation now from the comfort of your home. Stay up to date with current events and breaking news on our Facebook page. Search and like 910 AM Superstation on Facebook, and you'll see everything new, everything exciting, and all things Detroit. 910 AM Superstation News on Facebook Live right now. The 910 AM live stream can now be seen on Apple TV, Roku, Chromecast, YouTube Red, iPhone, iPad, Android phone, Android tablet, Amazon Kindle Fire, any Windows phone, or watch us live at 910amsuperstation.com. Have you been denied credit or hit with high interest rates? A low credit score happens to many of us, and millions of people are victims of incorrect items on their credit reports and don't even know it. That's why you need credit repair now. Our proven process has resulted in past clients seeing on average 11 negative items removed from their credit report and a 40-point increase after the first 4 months in our program. Call now and request your credit report and credit score for free in minutes.
Call 1-800-783-9197.
Listen up, America. Are you or a loved one suffering with an addiction to alcohol, opiates, prescription painkillers, or other drugs? There is hope. Medication-assisted treatment is proven most effective for opiate addiction recovery. Utilizing medications such as methadone, Suboxone, and Subutex, combined with inpatient treatment, you can achieve lasting recovery. Most insurance is accepted, so call us now. Please call 800-625-5860. So you've decided to go to college. That's cool. So pop quiz. Which is a better way to earn your degree? Commute to college and fill your gas tank, get stuck in traffic, drive in bad weather, try to find a parking space, walk a half mile to class, or learn online at Independence University. You don't go to college. College goes to you. That's Independence. That's Independence University. And all your supplies, including a brand new laptop and tablet, are included with tuition. Independence U for an independent you.
Call 1-800-556-7791.
Do you owe more than $10,000 to the IRS? If so, you may qualify for the IRS's Fresh Start program. The Fresh Start program is one of the biggest tax breaks the IRS has offered. Call Tax Group Center at 800-685-6150 to see if you qualify for the IRS's Fresh Start program. Their team of tax experts and attorneys will get you the best tax settlement possible. Call 800-685-6150 now to learn if you qualify for the IRS's Fresh Start program. Call Tax Group Center at 800-685-6150. 800-685-6150.
Are you drowning in debt? Struggling just to make minimum payments? It's not your fault. Serious debt can happen to anyone, but there is hope. Our debt-free program has helped thousands of good people, just like you, eliminate their credit card debt. Call us today and we will dramatically reduce your credit card debt down to just a fraction of what you owe. The call is free. The consultation is free. Take control of your credit debt. Take control of your life again. Call now to see how our debt-free program can work for you.
Call 800-872-5230.
I heard on the news about that 5-year-old who found his uncle's gun. The kid didn't know it was loaded.
I heard on the news about that 14-year-old girl who was bullied online for like a year. She couldn't take it anymore, so she got her dad's gun from his nightstand.
I heard on the news about that guy who broke into someone's house, stole a gun from the hall closet.
He accidentally shot his cousin in the head.
She killed herself.
And later, killed the owner of the store he was trying to rob.
If you own a gun, you have a full-time responsibility. When you aren't using it, be sure it can't get into the hands of curious children, troubled teenagers, a thief, or anyone else who might misuse it. Your family, friends, and neighbors are all counting on you. Remember, always, lock it up. For more information on firearm storage safety, visit ncpc.org. This message brought to you by the National Crime Prevention Council, the Bureau of Justice Assistance, and the Ad Council.
You're struggling with your mortgage. You think about it. You don't do anything but think about it.
What are we going to do if we lose the house? Where are we going to go?
At work.
I can't let anybody find out. I'm so embarrassed.
At dinner.
How can I tell the kids? It's going to wreck their lives.
And at 3 o'clock in the morning.
I don't know what to do. I don't know how to get through this. What's going to happen to us?
It's time to stop thinking. It's time to start dialing. Call 1-888-995-HOPE for a free government program that offers expert one-on-one advice about your mortgage options.
I'm all alone.
No, you're not. We've helped over 1 million homeowners, and we want to help you. And now there are more ways to help. Call 1-888-995-HOPE or visit makinghomeaffordable.gov. Brought to you by the U.S. Treasury, HUD, and the Ad Council.
If you or a loved one underwent hernia surgery between 2010 and 2016 and then suffered serious complications, call right now. You may be entitled to financial compensation. Complications associated with physomesh include chronic pain, infection, adhesions, mesh migration, reopening of the hernia, and other serious injuries. Call right now.
Call 1-800-799-2091. Again, that's 1-800-799-2091.
We're the hottest station in town. Whatever you need, it's right here on 910 AM Superstation. The most powerful voices in the urban community.
3, 2, 1.
You're listening to 910 AM Superstation. You're listening to 910 AM Superstation.
The best in the city.
WFDF Farmington Hills, Detroit. 910 AM Superstation, a division of Adele Media.
And good morning. You're listening to 910 AM, the Superstation. We have a studio full here this morning. We have Keith Williams, who has joined us on many Sundays, to the chagrin of his wife, I think, because he doesn't go to church as often.
I got to start going back to church because I'm getting attacked. I need my angel back.
Scotty Boman, our resident libertarian, and Ashley Smith, whose sisters, I'm sure you recognize the ordeal that happened last August concerning DMC. We have some callers that have come on. Before I get to the callers, though, I want to remind everybody that today is a stroll-a-thon, obviously a personal interest of my granddaughter with Rhett's, which is a very horrible condition for the youngsters that unfortunately is genetic and is very, very difficult for them. And it affects 98% of them are female because women have 2 X chromosomes, and the males usually, since they only have one, don't survive it. That's part of it. That walk's going to be today May 5th at the Drake Sports Park on Drake Road, 6801, which is by Maple and Drake. And it starts at 10 a.m. for the gathering, and the stroll actually starts at 11. So the fight is horrible condition. If you want to join us, feel free to do it. Getting back to what we have here today, we have some callers that wanted to chime in. So, Barbara, you're on with the panel.
Yes, good morning. You know what bothers me about all of these stories that come out is that, you know, the media and those who are complicit with them only point to Detroit as the problem. They want to make Detroit judges, Detroit people, the poster child for corrupt behavior, bad behavior.
Well, I think we've seen in Macomb County that they've had their fair share in the past 6 months.
No, I'm saying in certain instances, Gary Steele, he, you know, was charged with a felony for beating his girlfriend, shooting his gun at her, and we don't know the name of the judge in that case who dropped his case down to a misdemeanor that allowed him to be on DPD because he doesn't live here, Gary Steele. So we're not going to know the name of that judge. I think that
if there was a court action,
that information.
Barbara, if it was a court action, there was a judge that definitely you can find out who was the judge on the case.
But I'm saying you all are saying King. In this case, you know that judge. But Gary Steele's case was.
I think one of the callers pointed out King. I know Judge King.
I know Judge King too.
And you know, I'm not sure what he was doing when he did in the incident.
But
I know
he
that he's been a
wasn't
good
the one
jurist
who
in the
dropped
past.
it down to a misdemeanor in that case either. He wasn't the one. It was Cynthia Miller who dropped it down to a misdemeanor. It wasn't Judge King. So, you know, facts matter. And, you know, Gary Steele's case was the first case where this happened. I don't hear the outrage that this man was allowed to beat on the DPD, and he had this kind of charge against him. It doesn't matter what the court system dropped it down to. I mean, that was felonious assault. He beat his girlfriend and shot off his weapon at her. How can you police me when you've shown yourself to have violent tendencies? But that doesn't come up. Only the finger is pointed at Detroit. And with that, with the bail system, oh, they're going after 36 district court. Well, they do this all over. Target poor people. But it's always Detroit that is the attention of corruption and, you know, bad behavior.
Speaking for myself, I live in Detroit, so my focus has definitely been on Detroit. Now, they should be screening people coming in. If we have people, you know, like you were talking about, Officer Steele, are guilty of violent crimes, whether they bargain them down or not, people, there's a screening process, and it seems like they could screen people out.
Yeah, one of the problems we have, though, it's really hard to, and Keith is familiar with this, to recruit, especially African Americans, into law enforcement now. There's been, in the past year and a half, with a number of incidents.
Someone who has a violent history? Someone who has a violent history?
Ma'am, he's probably been there before. When he went through that process, they went through a psychological process. They checked his credentials out. He probably inherited that behavior during his career, not when he started, because you get checked. They check you out thoroughly before you become a police officer.
Well, you're saying probably, but even if that happened, you know, psychological, people's psychology changes over the years.
That's what I'm saying. But in the beginning, we go through a process. You have to have a psychological test before you can get to the next process in the hiring process.
Yeah, but he was still on the force.
What I'm saying is
he committed that.
But what I'm saying is, you was making it sound like that he was like that in the beginning. He may inherit that.
No, I didn't make it sound like that because I know that wasn't the case. Right. But you're saying the same thing about this guy who beat the mentally ill woman, and I think that was egregious. You're saying he should not be on the force.
I can't speak, you know, ma'am, I can't speak for I'm totally out of this. I feel for the lady and the young ladies in the thing. And I wish justice be the young lady gets justice. But I can speak on it because I'm not legally able to speak for it, and I'm a part of the Wayne County Sheriff's Office.
Well, I'm just saying fair is fair, and it seems like the only one who gets the negative light shined on them continuously is the city of Detroit when other people outside the city.
Now you're talking about maybe police, but I mean, Barbara, you're talking about police, but the past year, Macomb County, with all the corruption that they've been tried on, has really focused on businesses and public officials outside the city of Detroit. I mean, Macomb County now probably has surpassed in the number of indictments that they had in Detroit with criminal actions.
On that. You don't focus on it. On your shows, they do it and it's gone. It's done. They may not get as severe sentences as people here. I don't know. But you don't focus on it and make it the focus of the problems and the corruption. You just don't.
Well, we've talked about it several times. I know Keith has gone out there several times. There's been several discussions about Macomb County and some of the corruption that
it's terrible in Macomb County, but they want to make Wayne County the bad guy. And they got every day some corruption going on
out there.
There we go. That's what I'm saying. And so I'm saying to you, Mr. Ficano, had you heard about Gary Steele shooting his gun at his girlfriend and beating her and his case being dropped to a misdemeanor?
No, I'm not that familiar with it. I haven't seen it in the media reports.
But I think we should hold.
Therein lies the problem.
I think we should hold them all accountable. And,
Yeah, but they don't. This is what I'm saying. He said he hasn't heard that.
Ma'am, let me just share this with you. Until we own our own radio shows, until we own our own newspapers, you're going to get their perspective.
Well, you can call them out when you don't get it.
Yeah, okay, I agree with that.
Call them out when you don't get it.
Okay.
Yeah, I call them all out.
Okay. Thanks, Barbara.
I'm so sorry about your sister, ma'am, because I feel your pain.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, Barbara. We appreciate it. Next, we have Pastor Hunter is joining us. Pastor?
Hey, man, how y'all doing?
Good.
It's so sad when people don't get a wide range of information. Jesse Jackson, Al Sharpton, and President Obama have been talking about bails and unfair bails for the last 10 years or better. Willie Wilson paid $400,000 worth of bails a few months ago when he thought he was going to help him win as mayor. Ludacris and numerous entertainers. I can't think of some of his name that's skipping my mind because I just get so frustrated when people get on there and are able to rant about misinformation. Bob, when you were in the sheriff's department, now Benny, the reason why we don't have the inundation of the sickness in Detroit on the sheriff's department is because we've always had in-house belonging sheriffs. It don't mean to say we don't have no bad Wayne County sheriffs, but I don't know where she's been this week when we've had 2 white officers accused of assault and rape in the jail out in Western with Oakland, one of them counties.
That was in Macomb County. That was in Macomb County. They had the 2 officers that were just arrested.
Yeah, I mean, and we're all frustrated that Kwame got 28 years when Manafort and the rest of them who did federal crimes and got money hidden all over in other countries are getting 5 years, 3 years.
All you got to do is look at the governor of Illinois. He sold President Obama's Senate seat, or he's trying to sell it, and he only got 14 years.
And how about the fact that none of these people are convicted of violent crimes?
Oh, excuse me.
But Jones committed a violent crime and got 0 minutes.
Now, you know the problem with that, and we all love and respect King because he's our friend, and we know him.
Oops, he just got cut off. Call back, Pastor Hunter. Call back. Call back. I'm sorry. Looks like you got cut off here. He'll call back, I hope. Okay. Jerry, you're on with the panel.
Thank you, Mr. Robert Ficano. Good morning to you. Good morning to all the guests, distinguished guests with you.
Thank you.
And one of them, Mr. Keith Williams. I just want to give him advice. Mr. Keith Williams, you should attend the Sunday Mass before the Reverend or the pastor send a word.
Well, Jerry, first of all, you said Mass, so I don't think he's Catholic.
I'm not Catholic, Jerry. I'm Baptist, Jerry.
It doesn't matter. You are a believer. You are a believer.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right.
You should have said believer.
You can come to Mass.
Mr. Keith Williams, you should attend the church, whatever you call it, Catholic, Orthodox, Anglican, Protestant, Lutheran, whatever. You are a believer, and you should be in the church after the show is done. Anyway, gentlemen, thank you for taking my call, and my prayers go to the Smith family.
Thank you,
and I hope the service will be served. And, ma'am, corruption is all over. If it is in Wayne County, in Macomb County, Oakland County, in another state, yeah.
Jerry, when you say something like that, and I understand there's a lot, the corruption gets highlighted because why? It's the exception to the rule.
Right.
90%, 95% of the people that are in public office are trying to do the right thing.
Bob, you're so right. You're so correct. I'm tired of people saying everybody's corrupt. You know, it's certain behavior that goes along in processes, but everybody's not like that. I served with some great people from different races and stuff. We got stuff done. You know, and everybody don't have criminal intent when they get in these positions.
Yeah.
Exactly. Now, Mr. Robert, if you allow me, gentlemen, to change the gear over here, shift the gear, we come to the Attorney General of the United States, Mr. Barr. I do believe, from my opinion, Mr. Barr, he lied to the Congress somehow. He's hiding something. So my question is, I do believe the Congress will issue a subpoena to him, and he should come to the Congress. Now,
that'll be that's going to be an interesting separation of powers argument.
Bob, in all actuality, they should impeach that guy.
Who, Barr?
Now, now, gentlemen, if you allow me to connect another story with this. You remember the former Attorney General, Miss Lynch, and during the investigation of the former fired FBI Director, Mr. Comey, when he said that Miss Hillary Clinton, she break the law when she practiced the email, which put risk for our national security in jeopardy. Do you think, gentlemen, will be fair that the Congress should subpoena the former Attorney General, Miss Lynch, to tell her what was going on with the email of Miss Hillary Clinton and how come she wasn't questioned by the Congress? I would love the answer from you, gentlemen.
Well,
thank you very much.
Okay, thanks, Jerry. Thanks. You have a great Sunday, and we got to go to break. Pastor Hunter, please hold on. I know that we got you back on the line, but just so they can, Benghazi, they did go over all our emails. I mean, people seem to forget that they hammered that about our emails and everything else that was part of it that was going on as well. And plus, do we want to continue to live in the past about all this? I mean, that's what the Republicans want you to go back and think about this and challenge that.
When Loretta Lynch was on the airplane with Bill Clinton, she recused herself because she had engagement with the president and his wife, who they were going after, okay? But these clowns, they're breaking all kinds of laws, man. It's so similar. Barr is talking to Trump about the case.
And he's asking him to investigate certain people.
Yes.
And he admitted that.
Yes.
He was uncomfortable with it. Okay, we're going to break. Pastor Hunter, we're going to be right back with you right after the break. And listen, 910 AM, the Superstation.
We always talk about our peeps, how we be everywhere.
Hi, I'm Hunter Ellis, and this is Atomic Beam USA. Another bright idea from Bulbhead, the ultra-bright, tough-grade flashlight that features tactical technology used by U.S. Special Forces. This flashlight has a feeble 125 lux output. The Atomic Beam USA has up to 5,000 lux. That's 40 times more. We're going to drop it hundreds of feet from this helicopter. It hits the tarmac, and it's still working. That's what I call a tough flashlight. Heavy downpours, mud puddles, even extreme temperatures are no match. You could spend over $100, or the Atomic Beam USA can be yours for just $19.99 with free lifetime guarantee. Order now, you can double it and get a second Atomic Beam USA. Just pay a separate fee, and we'll even ship them to you for free. Atomic Beam USA is just $19.99. Order now.
Call 1-800-638-2619 to get your Atomic Beam USA. Call now or go to atomicbeam.com. So call 1-800-638-2619. Deluxe version available. Order now.
Attention! In July 2018, Bayer announced that it will be halting its sales of Assure. The Assure birth control may break or migrate after insertion, puncturing the fallopian tube, resulting in corrective surgery to remove the device. Thousands of women have reported debilitating health problems to the FDA in April 2018. The FDA restricted sales of Assure to protect women and required that patients receive risk information.
Please call 800-425-9539.
Are you drowning in debt? Struggling just to make minimum payments? It's not your fault. Serious debt can happen to anyone, but there is hope. Our debt-free program has helped thousands of good people, just like you, eliminate their credit card debt. Call us today, and we will dramatically reduce your credit card debt down to just a fraction of what you owe. The call is free. The consultation is free. Take control of your credit debt. Take control of your life again. Call now to see how our debt-free program can work for you.
Call 800-872-5230.
When I grow up, I want to be a new pair of blue jeans.
When I grow up, I want to be a kid's first computer.
When I grow up, I want to be a glass countertop in a new home.
When I grow up, I want to be a kid's best birthday present.
When I grow up, I want to be a football stadium.
When I grow up, I want to be a warm fleece on a cold day.
When I grow up, I want to be a fancy backsplash.
I want to be a bike that races around the country. When I grow up, I want to be a bench on a forest trail.
I want to be a rocking chair on a sunny porch.
I want to be a skyscraper. I want to be a
When I grow up, I don't want to be a piece of garbage. And if you recycle me, I won't be.
Give your garbage another life. Recycle. Learn how at iwanttoberecycled.org. A public service advertisement brought to you by Keep America Beautiful and the Ad Council.
And good morning. You're listening to 910 AM, the Superstation. My name is Robert Ficano, here along with Keith Williams. We're also joined this morning by Scotty Boman and our special guest, Ashley Smith, that's here talking about the incident involving her sister last August. Now, we had Pastor Hunter that was on previously, unfortunately got cut off by our technology. Pastor Hunter, you're back on with us here.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. And that's what happens when you're good people hosting. Well, and first of all, let me say this. Keith, don't think your work go in vain. We see you screaming, we see you hollering. And it's women like this who just got off the phone, and to the Smith family, we definitely, our condolences go out to you and our respect go out to you.
Thank you.
All of us are frustrated that, well, correction, most of us with our heart are frustrated that a woman can be beat like that, because most of us have been threatened in one form or another. If you're black man, black woman, it used to be black men. Now you just got to be almost just human. And these cops just got these egos. No reflection on you, Bob. They just got these egos. They think they just got to be over you to communicate with you. because they have a lack of discipline about self-worth. When you have self-worth, you have respect for others and you have respect for yourself. But what we really need to get back to, and I know they hate it, we've got to have residency for police. If you don't have respect for the atmosphere that you're in, it definitely will not gain respect for the people that's in that atmosphere. And another thing, when we come back to this politics, I got to hit on this. I don't know why we got to use Obama for every scapegoat of dislike or discord of the last 12 to 15 years. Thank you, Keith, for pointing out, yes, we was in the worst condition ever. He brought us out of it. Yes, the auto industry was about to be synced, and he brought us out of it. The banking, the real estate, we forget all that. In 2007 and 8, we were a losing economy. We were trying to give every rich white man money, and everybody else had to suffer.
Hey, brother, let's think about this, sir. Think about this, sir. John Dingo's father in 1948 talked about health insurance. They've been talking about health insurance for the last 100 years. Johnson finally gave us Medicaid and Medicare, but they never had a comprehensive plan until Barack Obama brought it to fruition. So, it's jealousy that a black...
I was going better than that. Keith, I was there. The biggest part about this health care that we don't talk about is the concessions that Obama and the Democrats accepted.
Yes.
In order to just get something on the table.
Especially to the insurance companies.
Right.
That's one of the concessions we made.
Down, all these nicks and crannies, they did everything they could to fight everything that was positive for the people. And what you ignorant people who fight it don't understand. Every congressman, every senator, and everybody on the Hill got federal health care.
Yes, they do.
Which the rest of the nation, it's not matched.
Yeah.
You see, Bob, the problem with urban, rural, and some folks, they need to go back to school because they don't understand. Somebody can tell them that the black militias come in their community, and guess what? And nobody's around, and they really believe that the black militia is coming to take over their property and stuff, man. They do believe that crazy stuff.
Try listening to the radio in Georgia, Alabama, Texas, Arizona. You got Rush Limbaugh and some of these people I ain't never heard of all day, every day.
I didn't want to call people ignorant, Bob. I was trying to go around and
Oh my God, could you imagine having to hear Rush Limbaugh every morning, noon, and night?
Yeah. They got some even more right-wing than he is.
Yeah. Hey, but you see, I want to change the subject, brother. You see they put Farrakhan off of Facebook the other day.
Yeah, I saw that.
that. What's interesting is that move was made on the eve of World Free Press Day. So apparently, obviously, I understand it's a private platform, and so they're not.
Yeah, well, I saw Zuckerberg just bought another
observe.
mansion. Did you see that for $56 million or something?
Man, we should shut down Facebook.
You're on Facebook as much as anybody. What are you talking about?
A platform that doesn't censor people like Facebook.
No, see, the problem is that that's a diversion from the Russia scandal.
Yeah, that's the problem. That there are so many articles that the Russians were actually planting on Facebook and others, and they were just sort of letting it happen.
But think about this, Bob. Donald Trump on a phone call with Putin again, talking about the elections.
Well, he didn't confront him about the election.
No,
that's the problem.
Yeah, right.
He didn't confront him about it. He spoke to him for 60 minutes.
Hey, man, on Facebook, Lord knows I was on it this morning. They got this series of Fox News saying everything about Barack Obama. He plays golf. he's siding with the other criminal leaders and all that other stuff. Isn't that what Donald Trump doing?
Plus he cheats.
He cheats enough. Lisa Obama don't lie. He didn't lie.
Wait a minute. He didn't talk to him about the collusion, but did he talk to him about co-signing the next election? And what you got to understand is, if you talk about collusion, they're going to keep saying it's not there. But if you
There's no such thing as collusion, man. Legally, ever right or wrong, Bob.
No,
they manufacture a legal saying, man.
Yeah, that's one of the issues.
Let me say this before I go. We've got to just keep, and thank you, Bob, for having the platform where people can discuss it. We've got to keep people abreast. And the reason why people respect the word fake news is, and you know, Bob, there's been so many lies put out on you, on me, on William, anybody doing anything. When the gentleman talked about free press, let's not even talk about no free press. Even at the Image Awards, at the NAACP Image Awards last month, you had more white press inside than outside, and more black outside than inside. Now, when I go down here today, and they all know I have 2 newspapers in Detroit, not including the one in Atlanta and D.C., I guarantee you there's going to be a struggle that I got to prove over and over and over again that I'm the black legitimate press.
So who am I talking to, Pastor?
This is Gary Hunter.
Yeah, I know, man. hey, I know.
So we got to keep the fight up. And Bob, thank you so much for not just taking your retirement and going to, Cancun or somewhere. Thank you for standing in the community.
One of the mistakes I made was like, Keith, I didn't get a retirement out of the county.
I didn't get one either. I just hate how to get missed that 5-1 match.
Let me say this to the Smith family.
Yes.
I hope and pray that you get double as much as Gary, what's his name?
Gary Brown.
Gary Brown, who didn't get one hit, who didn't get beat, who didn't get assaulted, who didn't get lambasted on national TV.
Hey, Gary, I got an assignment for you, man. You can come take all the pictures you want at Soul Day, man. You can put a little soul into your paper with my day.
When is your day?
July 12th. It's at Joseph Walker Williams Community Center on 12th Street, Rosa Parks. Oh, 12th Street where all of that stuff happened,
In theory.
Yeah. So it was not a riot, it was a rebellion. But I just need your help, man, because it's a day that we show what Black America is all about. Please, come on down.
I would love to, but can you do me a favor?
Yes.
Can you please send me an electronic ad this week? And let me say this to the audience, Bob. We've got to stop making papers history. We've got to make them information as well.
What's your email?
Hunter, Detroit Times Media at gmail.com.
Detroit
Times Media at gmail.com. My phone number, and I don't have no problem with giving out, because I could cuss out the wrong person who called. Yeah, I said it as a preacher. 313-442-6111.
Okay.
And let me give y'all the gospel this morning. It's not a sin to get people off of you at any means necessary. Because some of the holiest people are some of the meanest and selfish and backstabbers and gossipers and mistreaters. And don't talk to your mother. Don't talk to your brother. So let's get back to loving and respecting. Because the Bible said that Jesus spoke so harsh that some walk no more with him. Sometimes you got to go off on people because they're selfish, religious, believing selves don't know how to respect the boundaries of love and respect.
Okay.
And what happened to the Smith family was a total disrespect. And it shouldn't happen to nobody's mother, nobody's sister, nobody's brother, nobody's mama.
We're still trying to find out who the guardian was in terms of, the responsibility and the fiduciary responsibility that should have been theirs. So it's
not only that, the devil lady made a good point, Bob. The nurses, and you know, as a previous sheriff, when the doctors and the nurses make a call, even officers are not supposed to bother a patient.
True. I'm not sure. We're not sure of all the protocols that were followed. That's one of the issues that,
Well, one of the protocols that wasn't followed is somebody being beat who did nothing to them and was not in harm's way.
Yeah. Okay, Pastor Hunter. Well, we appreciate you calling in. We'll let you get back to your sermons here probably this morning, I'm presuming. Okay. See you at the NAACP. So we have a person who I've gotten to know that has, and this should be an interest to Keith, because this is all about being an entrepreneur and being successful. And Keith's always talking about, don't give me jobs, give me wealth, and get me a way to get there. That's part of that. Yes. He has a program here on 910 at
10 o'clock, 11 o'clock.
11 o'clock.
I'm early, man.
Yeah, you're early.
I can't get out of bed.
Your daylight saving time.
I'm all confused.
A guy that said that must got some wealth in his, got some ends.
In my dreams.
11 o'clock, he's here, but he has a special seminar that he's going to be putting on that he sponsored, and why don't you tell us about it?
Well,
he might be interested in going, so his small business is really going to take off now.
Well, first of all, Bob, good morning, everyone. Yep, this is Marcus Lee, and this is a little bit early for me. I'm usually on the air at 11 o'clock, and I'll talk about the show a little bit later, what we got going on this morning. But Bob, thanks again. And yes, this will be our 5th annual small business workshop. I just wrote an article about it in Cranes Detroit as well. And basically, we're going to be focused on this year. It's going to be Tuesday, May the 7th. It's going to be focusing on navigating the headwinds of change. And let me explain to you what that exactly means. We have over 62,000 small businesses in Detroit, according to the 2012 U.S. Census data, and we're the 4th largest city in the country when it comes to the number of small businesses. Wayne County itself is the 2nd largest county in the country when it comes to women-owned businesses. And the state of Michigan, again, according to the 2012 U.S. Census data, the state of Michigan is 9th in the country when it comes to women-owned businesses. So what we've done, Bob, is about 5 years ago, we launched a workshop called the Small Business Workshop. And we launched it on the heels of Detroit coming out of bankruptcy. And if you listen to the statistical data, 50% of businesses in Detroit and beyond will not make it beyond 12 months. Right? That's according to the SBA.
Yeah,
they bomb.
They
don't make it. And 80% will not make it beyond 80% will not make it beyond 18 months, according to Bloomberg. So the purpose of the workshop is to provide businesses with tools, resources, ideas, and really get a chance to come and network with business leaders from across Detroit, other entrepreneurs, other business leaders, to give you the tools to be successful. This year, the workshop is presented by Fifth Third Bank, by the way.
Okay, brother. I just posted something on Facebook today about Sammy DeRue. I met him at a breakfast at Federal Reserve Bank, okay? And I said, I'm the chairman of the Michigan Democratic Black Caucus. I believe we not need to be a political organization, but we need to expand our boundaries into business and grow our businesses. Then you can help the political process. So I asked for a meeting. I called his office, told me to call us have coffee. I still haven't got a call back, and that's been 2 months ago. My thing is, and then Ken Harris
I know, Ken.
Ken just text me. They said, and I wonder what happened to the Black Chamber of Commerce. It's got a new name. Okay.
Oh, what's the new name?
It's the National Business League.
It's something like this. So my thing is, we had, Booker T. Washington. We have all these groups and all these seminars, and we have what I've been on this thing about ghetto economics. We got a chance in the African American community to take our ghetto economics and make it prosperity economics. How did we get those folks the tools to and the access to capital so we can grow our economy?
That's always the number one issue, Keith. You make a couple of good points here. One, access to capital is always the issue, particularly amongst minority-owned businesses.
Yes.
All right, when it comes to majority-owned businesses, they have generational wealth.
Yes.
The money has been passed down from generation to generation.
Yes.
Within the African-American community, we don't have the same access to resources. So that's always the number one challenge.
Right.
The other issue that you're talking about with Sandy, and I do know Sandy, I'm not going to say anything here about the regional chamber. I've done a lot of business with them over the years. I do a lot of public speaking. I give speeches on their behalf. But let me say this. We still got to find a way to get to the table. And that's the challenge. We're still not getting to the table when it comes to making those decisions. So, Ken Harris, Ken, if you're listening, I want you to call in or text us or whatever and get your perspective. But the bottom line is when we talk about getting to the table, we have those chambers should be stepping up for the African-American businesses. And when it comes to education, I apologize, but the seminar like on Tuesday, this is why people should come. You will have direct access to the leaders from the financial institutions and to nonprofit organizations. Got a guy named Ray Waters. Ray will be on the panel. Ray I call him the mayor of Detroit entrepreneurship. He provides microloan funding to up to $50,000 that people don't know about.
Yes.
And a lot of the businesses that are opening in downtown Detroit, Ray has been an integral part of getting those businesses established.
I'm going to put a challenge to you.
Give me the challenge. I've heard every single one of them. Go ahead, Bob. He knows.
No, I'm saying I'm going to work with you because I'm a strong believer in wealth. I know you got to have jobs to accumulate, your pensions.
You got to have the Chrysler.
Yeah, absolutely.
Going to be in Detroit.
But more importantly, you got.
Well, before you make your point, Bobby, make a good point. Do you know that 60 to 70% of the net new jobs over a 10-year period are created by entrepreneurs? Think about that. 60 to 70% of all the net jobs gained in America are a direct result of entrepreneurship. So yes, the big three is important to us. We love our big three. We love our big corporations. But people sometimes lose that fact. Now, I apologize. I cut you off.
No, but see, it's the potential. Let's think about the potential in ghetto economics. And people don't think it's the word ghetto, and I don't want that to be dispersion or anything like that. It's the mother that's doing the hair in her basement. It's the father or the mother cooking cakes in her house. It's the guy, the mechanic, the grandfather's got a mechanic shop in his garage. Just imagine we can buy up commercial buildings, put the father in a garage where he can get the proper tools so he can prosper. That's the kind of stuff I'm talking about. It's millions and millions of dollars that are going through that economy, Bob, because people don't like the fear of the IRS, they fear of a lot of things, and so I'm just saying, I'm tired of just seeing people tell me get at the table. The table is within us. We have an economy. They say African Americans got $1 trillion economy. Why don't we capitalize on it?
Because we don't know how to capitalize on it, number one. And number two, I'm going to give you a story. All right? And
I'm going to rebut someone and
but
say
I can share the story with you.
Right,
I've written about it publicly.
Right.
I wrote about it in Cranes. There's a brother, and this guy retired from the Detroit Lions.
Right.
Played for the then Los Angeles Rams, now the St. Louis Rams. Let me rephrase that. For the St. Louis Rams, now they're what? The LA Rams. Right.
Rams.
All right. So he went and wanted to start a business in his hometown.
Roger Brown.
Nope, not Roger. And so what he did, he went for financing.
Right.
Got rejected.
Right.
Now remember, he's an ex-NFL player.
Yes.
So he had some nice big contracts.
Okay. Yeah. All right. But my next question was, well, how did you get the money to open up your business in Northwest Detroit? I'll give you the business and say, yeah, Mark, stop teasing me. He said, I bought the building. I said, well, how did you buy the building? I had big fat contracts in the NFL. The reason he got rejected because he had too much money. All right?
Yeah,
and
too much money?
That's why the banks would not certainly finance him. All right? So what he did is, all right, you ready for the name of the business?
Right.
Cuzzo's Waffle and Cuzzles on 7 Mile in Illinois.
Bartel.
Ron Bartel. And he has since he just purchased another building and another. But my point in that example, he had the resources to do that because people always ask me, Mark, rents are going up downtown. This is happening. I'm being pushed out. I can't afford it. Blah, 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 blah. The easiest way to solve the problem, this gets to your point, is you got to have the resources to buy the building. But guess what?
Most people don't.
Most people don't.
But let me share this with
so
you.
they're really, I love this conversation. He wasn't challenging. Come on, let's go, baby.
Let me share something with you.
All right, go ahead.
I'm reading this article about 2 weeks ago, talking about why small and minority companies fail.
Mm-hmm.
And they said this. The people with wealth work for corporate America, work for county governments. They work for government.
Okay.
The African Americans that can really help grow a business, they got comfortable, and they've been getting at those 401ks and things like that. Really, you think about this, Bob. If most minority businesses are out here just trying to eat because they're trying to survive. They can't get into any other mainstream situations, so they do what they do. Okay, just imagine we can get these so-called bumpy and bourgeoisie black folks at the table with their resources and working with those folks like that. Then they got sustainability. See, the problem with small business, as you know, is sustainability.
Yeah, it is.
They got
That's
great
right.
ideas, but they don't have the processes of it. It's got a person who's been in college, who's been educated and things like that. That's where the problem lies, Bob. Trying to bring those folks and the poor people together to grow our business.
I realize that. Part of it seems to me that one of the when there's artificial barriers to business is that sometimes we're trying to make businesses do things that the consumers just don't want.
That's right.
And part of what you got to line up is that if you're an African American business, the first question is who's going to buy it, or who's going to buy my product? Why do they want my product? Okay, we're seeing it in the auto industry right now. I think we're sort of struggling. Do they want electric cars or not? Because you see Tesla, you see these other ones. Does the public want it? Now they're going gun ho. They all want this,
But Bob,
it's the same thing with entrepreneurs.
But I want to say there's a thing. It was on PBS, and I've been looking at it, and I got the link. It's a magazine called Boost. They talked about African American business from 1890 to the current day. Bob, these folks were forced to work together. And that's when you have Wall Street. They own the hotels. They own all the things that we usually have to deal with on a day-to-day basis. And racism came in and burned the town down. Then when they try to rebuild, they changed the zoning laws. So there's a lot of stuff that, yes, read about Tulsa, Oklahoma, and Black Wall Street. People need to look what happened to that. And then you keep going on and on. We sold product door to door. The lady came with the hair grease and stuff like that. We can control our own destiny. We don't need the big folks with the money to control our infrastructure.
No, but you can at the same time. If you can tap into these big banks, why not do it?
Well,
the banks ain't gonna never work with us, Bob.
Okay, but we don't always have to rely on banks to get financing.
Yes, that's true.
See, that's another thing that people don't realize.
Yes.
You've been. Everybody knows in this city, my dad was a legendary banker. Okay, everybody in this town knows that my dad at every African American bank, Aubrey Lee. That's right. And so rest his soul. And I was just talking about somebody else was born. People still ask me about him to this day. I used to watch Dad work the deals. My dad financed from Woodward West half of the businesses in the city of Detroit, and primarily all the big black churches he financed in Detroit right now. He financed those businesses and those institutions. But what he taught me, and my dad hired Dave Bing, and Bing was the number 2 draft pick by the Detroit Pistons. Dad hired Dave Bing, and then Dave tells the story. My father hired him to the management training program. There's a point to my story in a second. Because Bing made $18,000 in those years, in those days, so he had to augment his...
He's still mad about that.
He's still mad about it because he came across at the wrong time. But Dave, one of the things he said that my dad taught him, Keith, was this, and Bob hits the nail on the head as well, is you got to have a plan. You got to have a business plan. You got to have a marketing plan. You got to have a financial plan. And you also hit the nail on the head, but you got to have products that people are looking for. And one of the reasons that people still fail when it comes to entrepreneurship, quite frankly, is we don't have a plan. I have a great idea, but you know what? You like the idea, but I'm not going to buy the product because it doesn't relate to me. And so when I'm going with all this, once we understand that information, then we got to have African Americans. My dad was legendary at this. How you doing on time? You okay on time?
Yeah.
Okay. He would reach back, and my father helped so many of you know that he reached back and helped so many other people, and he would pull them along. In our community, we have the crab in the barrel syndrome.
Or forget syndrome.
Over the forget syndrome. So those of you listening, young people, what the crab in the barrel syndrome is this. You ever put a bunch of crabs in a barrel, one tries to pull up, the other one pulls back down. That's what we've had historically with the African American community.
Syndrome. I made it on my own, so they move out and don't come back.
Right, I don't need you anymore.
I don't need you anymore.
But back to the financing, a lot of times, and this is not a knock because Fifth Third Bank is my presenting sponsor, but we're going to be talking about traditional financing and non-traditional financing.
What are some of the non-traditional?
You have like the angel investors.
Okay.
The micro loans.
Yes.
All right. If you have a solid plan. Yeah. All right. Now this other thing called crowdfunding is hot. Crowdfunding is simply you find people putting these links on the GoFundMe page and all that stuff, and they're trying to raise funding. But the catch is with the crowdfunding is, as you start to get in money, you got to make sure you pay those guys or ladies back, where they can also become part owners of your business.
I got one for you. Me and Bill, so we're coming up with this a situation, Bob. Think about this. Let's think about this. You get 200,000 African Americans. They just put $20 a month for 12 months, $240. Multiply that by 200,000 people. That's $48 million on an annual basis. Just by putting $240.
That's a nice financial institution that you can borrow money from.
Yes, right. Bob, think about this. We used to have at the county the loan, the grant program. Just imagine 200,000 people just put up $5. That's $1 million.
Bigger than any of the loan programs we had at the county.
Think about this. There's $1 million. Then you go to the state and they match $1 million. You got $2 million to work with to help nonprofits out. Yeah. You don't have to go to the banks. It's within us. How many brothers that blow $240 in a year?
There's certain principles to it. And Mark, you're a great guy to ask this, and Keith raises a great point. But I'm looking at some huge companies now, it's like Uber and Lyft. It's amazing to me that they're going public, and none of them make money.
They're not making a profit.
They're not making any money, yet there's a number of financial backers that are willing to say, and now they're saying, you read the Wall Street Journal, and it says, well, now they got to look at their balance sheets, and they got to look at their bank account. I mean, things that you would think
because what
normally,
they're doing is the reason they're able to do that is they're supposedly creating value for the customer. So you look at how Lyft and Uber have taken off. They're not making money. But as a consumer, you look at the sheer foot traffic, people love them. When was the last time, personally, any of us, four of us in this room have called a cab? Yeah, exactly.
In Chicago, we use Uber.
And so what Ubers and the Ubers and the Lyfts, and what they've done is that's their selling proposition. The selling proposition is we're focusing on creating value, and
don't they have a balance sheet?
And I was just say, but the top line on the balance sheet, i.e., the revenue continues to increase significantly. So if I'm an investor, I'm willing to take that chance, and that's how they're able to get the cap funding or capitalize their business. I know it's kind of counterintuitive because banks will think, well, wait a minute, I want to see if you're making a profit.
Yeah, before I give you the loan.
Before I give you the loan. Interesting, isn't it?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah. Uber and Lyft are not making any money.
Right, they're not.
They're not making any money.
But so why would anybody want to finance somebody?
They do. They're attracting all this money. They're going public.
Yeah, that's exactly. Bingo.
Right.
Hear what he just said? You see what he just said? As soon as they go public, what happens? They get the money back, and they get something, right? Let's look at my main, not my main man, I apologize. Look at Facebook. That guy's 30 years old. early 30s.
And
what
I'm trying to
is he
figure out how
worth?
he's making money. Yes. The ads seem like he's making money off ads, but all it says is just giving people traffic to talk about things, man.
Well, you knew, I mean, everybody's so shocked that Facebook made money off of what they were selling. Hey, it was for free. How do you think he built up his business unless he was selling something? He had to sell something.
He's selling ads.
Well, not only ads, he was selling the information. Right. They were raking it or whatever they called it that they do to the companies. And these companies were buying it. I mean, they wanted to see it. General Motors was buying a ton of these, all these companies were actually going in and they were buying.
And people didn't know that was about to get.
No, they didn't know that. Which was one of the problems.
That's one of the problems.
Yeah, went with it.
But I like to partner with you, man, because I got to. Hey, man, I'm a strong believer.
Are we gonna make money?
I'm gonna give you access. Hold on, man. I'm gonna give you access to people that you can't make money to.
Well, let me say in closing, if I could, real quick. It's Tuesday, 8 a.m. to 1 p.m.
Where's it going to be?
At Techtown, Detroit, located at 440 Burrough Street, and it's presented by Fifth Third Bank.
Me and Bob have some money. We put some skin in the game at Techtown.
and we're going to have Tommy Walker.
We did invest in
one of our keynote speakers will be Tommy Walker, who's the founder and creator of Detroit versus Everybody. Tanya Allen, she's a restaurateur. She owns 10 restaurants at Metro Airport. And she also has a undergarment line for women. She's very successful. Tanya, not Skillman
I know.
And we have other speakers as well.
Okay, listen.
Go to LeagueGroupInnovation.com. That's LeagueGroupInnovation.com and click
real
on
quick.
Workshop.
Bring some of that energy to Soul Day on July 12th. We're going to have music.
You come on my show and talk about it.
Hey, listen to this. We're going to have music. We're going to show the best of black folks, okay? And you can make some money. We're going to have about 8,000 folks out there.
All right. Bob is up against the clock. Let me say, 11 o'clock today, we have a media roundtable. I got Luther Keith coming again. We're going to talk about his great uncle, Damon Keith. I also got come in Chuck Stokes, Ryan Armani from Fox 2 News, Ken Brown, who works with Mitch Album. We're going to have a roundtable discussion. We're going to have some fun this afternoon. And we from 11 to 1.
The draft? Isn't he a big Lions fan there?
Yeah. I know Kid and his sister, man.
I want to thank Mr. Lee. You can listen to him. He's coming on at 11 o'clock. And
what do I do for an hour?
I don't know. You know how to talk. I'll say that.
Hey, see, the deal is, brother, you need to call Keith Williams up. We can make your show better.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, we can throw a lot of fire bombs into this.
This is live. I'm going home and go back to bed and listen to myself.
No, keep drinking some coffee.
All right, I think we're getting up against the clock.
All right.
Okay, I want to
thanks, Bob. I appreciate it.
Hey, no problem. I want to thank one of the great guys I respect from the business community. He's done a great job. Mr. Lee has. You can listen to him at 11 o'clock here on 910 AM, the Superstation. And, of course, before we forget, Maxine, for all that you do always to make us look good, we appreciate it very, very much. Keith, always a pleasure. Appreciate it.
I'm going to church next week.
Okay. We got him going, all right? And Scotty Boman, residential libertarian. Might coincide with Mark now. I'm not sure. And then
I'll never say.
Yeah, Ashley Smith, our special guest here about her sister, which we appreciate you sharing that information. Have a safe trip back to Texas tonight. I believe that you're leaving, so appreciate it. So appreciate you. We will be on again next Sunday. Don't forget about the stroll-a-thon if you're going to be there today at 11 o'clock at the Drake Sports Shop, Fighting Reds. We appreciate it very, very much. You have a great Sunday. You're listening to 910 AM, the Superstation.
Frustrations. We always talk about our peeps, how we be everywhere. When you need them the most, are they really ever there?
This is Reverend Wendell Anthony, President, Detroit Branch NAACP, inviting you to join us Sunday, May 5th at 5 p.m. at the Cobo Convention Center for the 64th Annual Fight for Freedom Fund Dinner. Let's welcome